Learn together, pass together, grow together. So, today we learn switching and wireless. The flashy part of our example shop network would be the Wi-Fi, right? Well, no, not really. The real backbone of our example shop is examples LAN, our local area network inside the shop. Comes down to two devices doing the high heavy lifting behind the scenes, which are switches and wireless access points. If you don't have those straight in your head, everything else get fuzzy fast. So let me pick this practical. Okay, inside our example shop we have got registers, printers, laptops, tablets, all kind of stuff that needs to talk on the same network. Some of those devices plug in with cables, some connected over the air, but they all eventually tie back at the same wired foundation. That's the key. The switch is the device that connects wired things together on the LAN. That's it. It sits there in a rack or a closet, usually ignored while doing wicked cool work all day long. Ethernet cables plugged into the ports, sometimes called interfaces. But it gives all those local devices a place to communicate. Now, I know you have probably seen those tiny little unmanaged switches at somebody's desk, and the kind where someone says, I only have one cable in the wall, so I just added this little guy. Bad idea in the business network. Every one of those adds another point of failure, another power break, another thing that we can kick loose, step on, or just randomly die when the morning rush hits. In a real business setup, I want proper switches, usually with 24 or 48 ports, living in a network closet where they belongs. That's how we scale network or coffee shop without building a fragile mess. As we grow from one shop to multiple location, structure matters a lot more than convenience, right? There's one more number I want stuck in your head. A standard Ethernet cable runs can go about 328 feet or 100 meters before the signal needs help. In plain English, that means you can't just run cable forever across the building and hope for the best. At some point, you need another device, often another switch to regenerate or refresh the signal. Okay, so now let's talk about the thing everyone sees, which is wireless access point, usually shortened to APs, access points. This is a device that takes our wired network and broadcasts it through the air so phones, laptops and tablets can connect. In another words or other words, the AP doesn't create a whole separate universe, it extends the LAN wirelessly. That's an easy thing to miss. People look at Wi-Fi and think it's its own thing, floating over than a magic land. Nope. At the end of the day, wireless access points plug back to the switch, which means our wireless network is still tied to the wide infrastructure underneath. You see just what happened there. So, if the switch is the quiet workhorse, the AP like the shop's public face. Customers walk in, connected to guest Wi-Fi, employee uses tablets and handheld devices. Maybe we got a back office laptop roaming around. All of that convenience exists because the access point is connected to the wired LAN and rebroadcasting that connectivity through the air. Okay, so here is where things get fun. Not all wireless coverage looks the same because antennas shape how that signal travels. Some antennas are omnidirectional, which means they spread the signal in a broad pattern around the device, kind of like a bubble or a circle of coverage. Other antennas can focus the signal into a much tighter direction. And this is where I always think of water hose analogy because it's perfect. If you put your thumb on the end of the hose, the water shoots farther because you are narrowing the flow. Wireless works as a lot like that. Focus the signal more tightly and you can shoot it much farther. Okay, that means an access point isn't only for covering the example floor or example shop floor with Wi-Fi. In some cases, you can use directional antennas to connect one building to another without running cable through the streets. That's huge. If our example shop opens a second office across the lot of needs connectivity between buildings, wireless can bridge that gap when trenching cable should be absurd. So, Let me put this all together. The switch handles local wired connectivity. The wireless access points connects to that switches and makes the same network available wirelessly. One is the foundation and the other is the extension. If I was sketching this for example shop on a whiteboard, it would be look something like that. Internet comes into our shop, our network equipment distributed that connection internally. The switch connects wire devices on the LAN, the wireless access point plugs into switches, and wireless devices join the LAN through the APs. Simple, right? But don't let simple fool you. This is the kind of simple that everything else is built on. If you understand these two devices and what role each one plays, you're already seeing the example shop network, the way a network engineer sees it. I wanted this lesson to be quick because right now you don't need any knob, settings, and advanced feature. You just need the mental model. Switches and wireless access point build the LAN of our example shop network. That's the takeaway. Burn that into your mind, you are in a good shape. And trust me, things are about to be quite deeper later. I'll show you how you actually set this up, how they fit into bigger business designs, and why bad wireless placement can wreck an otherwise solid network. Okay?